Welcome to the deep dive. You know, the show where we dig into some interesting sources to pull out the key ideas.
Like,
Today we're diving into something that might make you stop and think, like, really, about how incredibly it is to be here, listening right now.
way beyond, our parents' meeting.
Exactly. Generations even further. We're looking at an autobiography called I Am Particularly Martian, Randell. And it's not just a personal story, though it's dramatic enough. He's the gunshot, which is incredible luck in itself.
Absolutely.
But he makes his argument that luck extends a lot farther back. And that with this big question he poses, are you like Martians?
It's a fascinating framing device for exploring existence.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack all these layers. It talks about the cosmic stuff, the evolution, the personal history, the improbable events that had to happen to him and to exist. We'll pull out the science, facts, and the theories he presents.
Sounds like quite a journey from the Big Bang to...
Okay, let's jump in. So Jay's story doesn't kick off with his childhood or anything. It starts with the universe itself.
Yeah, he points out that our universe seems to have just the right physical constants for life to be possible.
Which is already a pretty mind-bending place to start a life story.
It really is, and what's fascinating, how he connects this personal experience to the really big concept. He mentions the anthropic principle.
The idea that the universe seems fine-tuned for us because, well, we're here to...
Exactly, and he links it to the multiverse idea. Maybe our universe is one of many possibly black holes. He even throws out the simulation.
A simulate based on what?
Well, things like the speed of light being a maximum, sort of pixelation suggested by quantum theory, his own individual survival, even his poor short-term memory being good hint. It's
Wow. Okay. And he brings it closer to home, to her, the sheer love here.
Earth's specific, the tilt and season, the oceans arriving via comets and asteroids, orbiting relatively stars.
That's just right, the Goldilocks zone.
Honestly, any bird kind of needed that planet out there.
How so?
Gravity acts like a shield, deflecting or capturing the asteroid right of otherwise, constant catastrophic impact. We got hit, but not too much.
Just enough, perhaps, to deliver butter and honey.
That's part of the, and this connects directly to his Martian title, the panspermia hypothesis.
Yeah, it didn't start on Earth.
Yeah, it started on first. It was wetter and potentially maybe 4 billion years ago. Then an impact blasted Martian rocks containing microorganisms.
And some of those rocks officially landed on Earth during the detectors.
Exactly. He mentions a claim about the organic particles like benzenic carboxyls being on Mars but early Earth, and NASA's curiosity finding that oxygen.
So we might all be descendants of Martians. That's a lot to take.
Mind bender. And this ties into the early solar system chaotic play bombardment. Earth and Mars were swapping rocks. It's been disputed the fossilized life found H84,001, a meteor from Mars.
And Earth's own geological mentions a massive impact 3.5 billion years ago.
Yes, evidence points to a huge impact around that, with geological stars found in Australia, which is unique because it's part of the ancient crust that happened.
And the timing is crucial, right?
Right, because it coincides roughly with the first fossil evidence of life appearing down in Africa. Just these major events could have played a role in kickstarting life here.
Wow. Okay, so life gets started, possibly with Martian help, nudged along by asteroids. Then what?
Then came the oxygen. Around 2.3 billion years ago, synthesizing bacteria started pumping out oxygen daily. A fire oxygen.
Changing everything.
Completely changed the atmosphere of the ocean. It was toxic to much extent, but it also made for organisms that use oxygen. This oxygenation event ultimately led to the Cambrian explosion about 500 years ago.
That's the period of huge burst slide, right?
Exactly. A certain biodiversity leading to the atmosphere breathable enough for animals like us. The later evolution will be possible with oxygen.
So the stage is now the path from those early organisms to humans. It wasn't exactly a straight line, was it?
No, it really emphasizes the role of mass extinction. They sound bad, and they record the species involved, but they drastically change evolution.
How so? Like they're just...
Pretty much like the end Ordovician extinction 450 million years ago, rapid cooling, sea level dropping, wiped out a lot of marine life. or the late Devonian, 300 million years ago, possibly to the Woodley crater impact, killing like 10% of the species.
So these catastrophes created opportunities for the survivors.
Exactly. They reshuffled the deck, allowing new forms to radiate, fill the emptiness. It's this pattern of, near disaster drug innovation.
Huge innovation was moving on to land, the fish out of water moment.
Right at the pod. Around 400 to 350 years ago, these vertebrates made the leap, driven by a significant increased evolutionary pressure and vast untouched conditions. Land wide open.
And became amphibians, and reptiles.
Trials evolved around 300 years ago, better adapted to drier conditions. And then from synapses, the first mammals eventually evolved from Tasmania.
But the extinctions kept coming.
Oh yeah, with the end Permian, about 252 million years ago was the big one, the Great Dying. 90-95% of species wiped out due to massive volcanic eruptions, Siberian traps, releasing heaps of CO2 and runaway.
That must have totally reshaped life.
Fundamentally. And there might have been another significant extinction of even earlier in the Permian. These events like pruned. Much later, around 85 million years ago, primates started diverging their mammals.
Why this?
Seeks for rising global temperatures again. Climate shifts are a major driver of the narrative. Conditions these traps erupting again around 74 million years ago, causing more climate change.
And then the most famous one?
Dinosaur killers. Spacious paleo extinction 6 million years ago. Actually large and just the spot at just the right angle. Luck for the best.
Good luck to the mammals, including our tiny primate ancestors.
Precisely. That event the way. Then another event along the period around 50 million years ago, possibly linked to a comet skirt, doubled at oxygen.
And
Seems so. And this spurred the evolution of the first followed by Paroprimate 50 million years ago. So many external events pushing evolution in a direction.
it really feels connecting the dots between geology, climate, and law.
Absolutely. Any of these, seemingly random catastrophic events certainly specific conditions needed for our lineage to eventually emerge, like the splitting of Africa 25 million years ago.
How did
It led to the divergence of apes and monkeys. Then around 1 million years, another climate CO2 spike at sea levels caused our ancestors to split off in line.
and the landscape itself is changing dramatically.
The formation of the Great Rift Valley starting maybe 16 million years ago created mountains, changed weather patterns, reconnected Africa and Eurasia, allowing migrations. He mentions ancestors in the Balkans, Africa, these wet, jungly environments.
But the jungle everywhere, right? That's to the savanna hypothesis.
He pulls together for us here a possible distant supernova bathing Earth and radiates, huge eruptions in Africa, general climate change, all lead to melting polar ice and the spread of savannas, placing the jungles in East Africa.
And that environmental shift was the key pressure.
That's the idea. Force some primates out of the trees and off your grasslands. This is likely where the human will emerge from ancestors of gorillas and chimps. Savannas have very specific conditions: warm, seasonal rain, long, dry spells demanding new adaptations.
Walking upright for a couple.
This is seen at 5.3 to 2.6 years ago. Climate getting drier overall. This is when the first Australopithecus appeared, maybe 4 to 6 million. He throws in the idea they were in Africa when the Mediterranean refloated 5.33 years ago.
Trapped on a savanna, forced to adapt for millions of years.
That's the picture he paints. Then another climate change around 2.8 million years ago coincides with the occurrence of the Earth fossil attributed to our genus Homo LD 350-1.
And the climate kept changing.
Oh yes. 2.6 years ago, supernova energy might have peaked and the ice age began. North and South American joined, changing ocean currents. This is the dawn of the Stone Age. Fast forward a bit, Mach divergence is estimated in 350,000, 160,000 years ago.
In the recent play role, he mentions the Toba eruption.
Yeah, the supervolcano eruption around 75,000 years ago caused a volcanic winter and massive effect for humanity. He suggests this intense pressure actually propelled our evolution, so looking for resilience and adaptability leading to humans.
Wow. Then there's that more controversial idea about
The hypothesis, he includes it. The idea put forward by Terrace and Kent that psilocybin mushrooms grown on were conceived by early hominins.
And this as an evolutionary.
That's that spurred consciousness, language, art, religion, like fringe science, but Crandell includes it as another potential piece of our regenerative evolution.
Okay, so from this African cradle, humans actually spread out.
Neanderthals went to Europe earlier, maybe 45 years ago. Mentions a speculative idea about their extinction being due to a disease after a magnetic flip, which didn't affect African populations. Homo sapiens began migrating to Africa maybe 200,000 years ago, eventually populating the globe.
It's just an unbelievable geological and evolutionary events. So how does this all connect to a specific person for Jay?
Well, then zooms in dramatically. He's tracing the full and familiar required for him to be born in 1994 America.
Like what?
He points to European competitiveness, fueling exploration, colonization, guns, and steel, allowing the empire to take America. Then the American Revolution, in French help, established the new kind of nation on a resource continent. With those specific large-scale events, his existence wouldn't be possible.
Okay, makes sense. And then the family luck?
It gets incredibly specific. His maternal great-grandfather joined the Union Army in the Civil War at 14 and survived.
Wow.
Another great-grandfather survived World War I despite being wounded by shrapnel. Then his paternal grandfather in World War II stories.
What happened?
He was supposed to be a training flight but swapped at the last minute with another student pilot. The plane crashed, killing him. His own parents were initially he was dead.
Oh my God. That's chillingly lucky for him and his descendants.
Unbelievably so. Terrible tragedy for the man who died, Jay writes, but lucky for my grandfather and his descendants. Then his parents meeting in the 60s on his mom's college roof, deciding a whim and some beer, which led her to
just random encounters.
totally. And even his mother receiving an incorrect cancer diagnosis years later, it meant they couldn't afford the refugee surgery, so they took Greece instead. Turned out the diagnosis was wrong, and the unnecessary surgery, more luck.
It really makes me think about that question, how much is luck versus just the accumulation of random decisions?
And one early life seems shaped by influence. Born July 28, 1984 in Annandale, Virginia, he emphasized having loving, resourceful, capable, and smart in a safe suburb, and being born right at the cusp of the technical revolution.
A good start.
Definitely, but he describes himself as a challenging kid, incredibly demanding, hyperactive, and gifted. He credits patience, especially his mother, fostering his curiosity, taking him to libraries, playing word games.
He was advanced.
Yeah, skipped a grade, went to Murray. His mom quit her
didn't
for
skip
his
a grade.
education. He was even a apocalyptic grade president, advisor, and film designer.
Huh. Okay. And friendships.
He mentions early friends, especially who just showed up on my doorstep in third grade and became a lifelong friend. And the family dog, Sophie, a terrier poodle mix, similar to him, energy, intelligence.
Sounds like it made an intense child. You mentioned the NIH study.
In the fourth grade, yeah. A study on hyperactive kids, it helped them find the medication and dosage for him. And the study involved learning things like 12th grade vocabulary and high school physics. They told his parents he was an outlier on both axes.
Hyperactivity and giftedness. The combination. Did school get easier?
Certainly not. He mentions struggling in middle and high school, reported having poor hygiene, unusual fashion choices, leading to simple views on relationships.
But he found his niche elsewhere.
Seems like it. He got hep to early dial-up board systems, text-based online games, learning to code scripts. He became fascinated with artificial and emergent, and he enthralled even back then.
So all these
Artificial intelligence,
experiences, they're all converging. And then 2006.
Yeah, the narrative shifts abruptly. July 4th, 2006, walking down the street in Richmond, Virginia, and he's hit in the head by a bullet.
Shot in the
Just
head.
unbelievable. And this was about immediate survival.
Absolutely, the odds were incredibly close at 0.57% chance of survival, and he faced numerous life complications.
But the luck continued even then.
In critical, yes, he just blocked from a major trauma. And crucially, he was weeks away from aging off his father's excellent government health insurance, covering millions in medical time, everything.
What were the initial diagnosis?
Dire. First, doctors thought dead or vegetable. Then maybe locked-in syndrome, completely paralyzed except for eye movement. Through was when to respond correctly to show me two fingers, a tiny sign, but huge.
A sign of hope, but there were setbacks.
Major ones. He contracted MRSA pneumonia, a dangerous and the vibrating bed used to help clear his apparently the bullet fragment still in his vibrate. It damaged the memory centers on the back of his brain, resulting in almost amnesia and forgetfulness. A death blow after surviving the initial injury.
How did he even begin to recover?
Incredible dedication again. His mother, his father used all his faith. His mom had to essentially reach for me.
How did she do?
Started with song lyrics during music therapy. The poems just before the tapping rhythm and to engage, as he puts it, the other side of my brain. Back, it was constant word games, Scrabble, crosswords, reading aloud together.
And physical recovery.
He relearned to walk. His grandfather made him a cane. He found specific foods like granola, severe nausea. He gradually rebuilt his life, composing haikus, writing songs, living. He found it was backyard wildlife therapeutic, a situation perfect for my recovery.
Did he remain his physical ability?
Remarkably, yes. He ran a race using an ankle brace and heart monitor, winning a medal for his age group. His dad used to carry his cane on their early walks. He was volunteering, in local politics, even designing logos and campaigns.
Finding new gauge.
Yeah, and rediscovering old joys. He found he could safely co-pilot a tandem bike, something he loved. It really shows how recovery isn't just healing, it's also adapting and finding new paths. Luck wasn't just survival, it was his coping skills.
But the just weren't over. He mentions cluster.
Right, these incredibly painful, sometimes called suicide headaches. Discovered alcohol was a major for him.
Did he do?
Ingenuity again. He found pure alcohol helped abort. And since alcohol was out, he and his dad's brewing LGBT, he called it as an alternative.
And medication helped too.
Interestingly, yes. Zerapamil, a drug often used for heart issues, had an unexpected side effect for him. It seemed to help restore cause damaged sympathy.
Whoa, did someone just bring all this great?
Hey, it's me, Jay. I also found that magic mushrooms were incredibly effective. They actually completely aborted my headaches immediately and also helped me with a number of my autonomic issues, from my poor digestion to my terrible memory. So, have you ever heard of this? Are you familiar with any of this?
It's a really cool personal insight, and it connects directly to something Jay explored in his own story.
Yeah, he actually touches on the therapeutic potential of magic mushrooms for similar issues.
He notes that while they weren't addictive, they were illegal and also interacted with Zerapamil, which he was taking.
The idea of their benefits, like quitting smoking, treating cluster headaches, and combating depression, really resonated with him.
He even found a legal alternative, yogic breathing, which he describes as providing many of those same benefits for him.
It's fascinating how different approaches can lead to relief for such challenging conditions.
Absolutely, and it highlights the ongoing search for effective treatments for complex neurological and autonomic issues.
So on Jay's journey, this search for relief from things like cluster headaches and other symptoms led to some unexpected discoveries.
Yes, his Verapamil, while not a magic mushroom, helped with his damaged sympathetic nervous system.
How so?
It helped regulate his body temperature, reduced abnormal sweating, and lessened his chronic nausea symptoms of dysautonomia caused by the brain injury.
Which he describes as a pretty significant improvement in his quality of life.
He learned to time the medication carefully for maximum effect, which is key.
He continued adapting in other ways too, tech, creativity.
Yeah. Took a course in Unity game programming, came up with an app idea, don't end a word.
Right, the word game he played with his mom.
Exactly. Made music with software, learned one-handed harmonica.
How did he manage one-handed harmonica?
He asked a local harmonica player, Bobby Blackhat Walkers, who confirmed it was possible. So another adaptation.
That's amazing.
He also started working with freelancers for podcasting and design work, always finding ways to, work around his limitations.
And his awareness expanded outwards. Climate change, politics.
Yeah, his personal experience seemed to heighten his sensitivity to larger threats, observing signs of climate change.
Like fires, floods, melting permafrost.
Right, releasing old diseases, bee colony collapse. He met scientists declaring a climate emergency, predictions of extinction from Hawking.
Did he get partisan?
He critiques specific political actions and figures across the spectrum, particularly regarding environmental policy and the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Like McConnell blocking Obama's Supreme Court nominee.
Yes, and alleged Russian election interference, Trump's withdrawal from climate agreements, and his COVID response.
He just reports these as events impacting the world he's observing.
Exactly, not taking a side, but noting their global impact.
And the topic itself features in his reflections.
Definitely, the global spread, the shortages, the political turmoil around it, the tragic human cost.
Mentioning the U.S. death toll down.
But also the unexpected side effect of lockdowns causing a temporary drop in air pollution.
Which reminded him of the graphic novel Watchmen.
Finding connections everywhere, even in global crises.
Does he see hope for the future?
He does in several areas. He mentions Elon Musk's Neuralink, wondering if brain-computer interfaces could one day help with his memory and spasticity.
And possibly even address issues of digestion.
That's part of the hope technologies. He also sees Mars colonization by Musk or China as a potential survival plan B for humanity.
And closer to home.
The incredibly rapid development of COVID vaccine was a source of hope.
And fascinatingly, he learned that some long COVID symptoms hurt his own dysautonomia.
Yes, raising possibilities that treatments like verapamil or even potentially psilocybin might help others.
A connection back to his own recovery and the challenges he faced.
Right. And a final piece of personal luck. He realized his mother's later health problems weren't his fault due to the stress they caused.
What were misdiagnosed side effects of medication?
Exactly. It all feeds into this profound sense of gratitude, this deep appreciation for the sheer unlikeliness of his own continued existence.
It really brings it all together. From the universe's constants, Earth's formation, the wild ride of evolution, specific historical turns, family survival, and his own incredible fight after the shooting.
A tapestry woven from chance and resilience.
Yeah. And as you've heard us discuss, the path that led to just one person being here is paved with this almost unbelievable series of coincidences, near misses, lucky breaks.
The sheer improbability of any single us.
So if the odds against any one of us existing are just so astronomically high, and we've all benefited from this incredible train of rain stretching from cosmic dust right up to this moment.
What responsibilities do we, as these particularly lucky Martians, have?
To each other, and maybe to this improbable, fragile planet we call home. Something to think about.
Indeed. It's a powerful way to frame our place in the universe.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.